No, absolutely.
So you spent a decade at Fountain Court Chambers,
Yeah,
where I understand you led one of the bar's most impactful commercial strategies. So,
apparently
what
so.
was this strategy, and what were some of the key lessons or turning points during that time?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. So during my period up to getting to Fountain Court in 2008, I'd worked at some sets where, not sort of far up the food chain in terms of where Fountain Court were, but having to hustle for work. I suppose having to really not be complacent when it came to the phone ringing, instructions coming through. And I was thrown in the deep end when I was 24, when I was at Hardwick. I was, and it obviously wouldn't happen nowadays, but back then I was thrown in, and I remember the senior clerk at the time saying to me, "Look, Paul, you've got a commercial team. You just go and run with it." And I was like, "Okay, I'm 24 years old. I'm either going to sink or swim here." I looked at it as a fantastic opportunity. So things like practice management, I started to, because I was doing the qualification on the side, I started to impose some of those skills, some of that learning in my day-to-day career, which was fantastic to be able to do both of them at the same time. It was challenging because I was having to do a lot of studying outside of what was a very demanding role. But at 24 years old, what an opportunity. I don't know if he did that because he believed in me or because he just wanted to edge it off on me. I don't know. But it certainly molded me and gave me huge exposure. So by the time I reached 30, I got the attention of Fountain Court. And so when I went into Fountain Court, I went in with a huge amount of experience. At that time, I'd had a CIM qualification. The IBC invited me to talk at one of the IBC conferences to really educate clerks about the importance of getting a CIM qualification, the impact it has on your daily role. Because obviously sales, BD, marketing very much drives what a modern clerk should do. And I ended up publishing a lot of articles during that period. I think probably 6 or 7, which ended up getting quite a bit of attention in the legal press. So when I went into Fountain Court, I went in very confident. Even though I hadn't been part of the Magic Circle, I felt Fountain Court needed that fresh approach. It got quite stale. And it's fair to say at that point, it was losing a lot of pace and traction with other Magic Circle sets. So we had to put together, and Alex Taylor, who to this day is still my mentor, Alex brought me and gave me that chance. But, he gave me that chance for a reason. So we had to put together a very robust first 5-year strategy, which included doing something called a perception survey, which at the time was unheard of back in 2008, asking clients for their feedback on why perhaps they'd gone missing over a period of time, but also analyzing the data and looking at why certain law firms had gone missing. And assumptions were being made and just saying, the way it works is the phone will just start ringing again. And it's just like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the phone ring. We need to understand what the issues are, where the gaps are, and we need to start plugging them. So we ran a perception survey as a starting point, and that really formed what was a incredible first initial 5 years, which was a big challenge because we had to take what was a very successful set, but for various reasons, and a lot of it was due to members going on the bench, other sets of chambers being a lot more robust when it came to sort of BD. It required a lot of courage, and they believed in Alex, they believed in myself, they believed in some incredible clerks in the clerking team, and we drove it forward.